All right, we have a new PvP gearing system going into Shadowlands 9.1. Now, there's some confusion regarding this system. There's Bellular on Twitter tweeting about it. I see some players tweeting about it, and there are some things that are good with the system where I think players are missing the point, and there are some things that are bad with the system, or could be improved on, I should say, because it's early in its stage, or it's in the early stages, and I wanted to explain those, get my thoughts across, and let you guys know what I think Blizzard could do to really min-max the system. So I'll need your guys' help, because I'm sure some of you are aware what the problems are with the system, but I also want to inform you guys what's good with the system. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So you can see here on the PTR, none of the gear has changed. It all looks the exact same. But this morning, Wowhead data mined some of the gear going into 9.1 for PvP, and it looks different. Now at BlizzCon, Blizzard tweeted out or did a Q&A where they answered to a question regarding if they're looking to change the PvP gearing system in 9.1, and they said that they're looking to do something similar to the Warlords of Draenor system. Now, before the beta or during the beta, I made tons of videos talking about gearing, but I made a video that wasn't as seen by many people, and that video in particular, I broke down every form of PvP gearing in WoW's history, and I explained the pros and cons of all of them, and how we got to the point of Warlords of Draenor, and what was wrong with resilience, PvP power, etc. And I recommended Blizzard with the short amount of time they had, and even just in feedback, I let them know that, hey, you should do the WoD system. They weren't open to doing that, and they wanted to have one uniform set of gear. And when you have one piece of gear work for both forms of PvE and PvP, you create a lot of issues, which is what we experienced at the start of Shadowlands and is what we're experiencing today. But there are some things good about the system that they're going to implement. So right here is a remnant of the WoD system. You can see here that your gear will scale up. Now, if you missed my WoD gearing video, I'll link it below, but your gear will essentially scale up in PvP, and it will be lower outside of PvP. Now, these numbers that they reported are just examples on Wowhead. Blizzard went out and said that, Duelist, for example, will be 246 baseline, and in PvP, it will scale up to 259, making your PvP gear the best for PvP and making PvE gear not as effective in PvP and vice versa. Now, the reason why you do this is you want to differentiate the gear because you have issues of boosters, which I'll get to in a second, but also a lot of players have been asking for catch-up systems. Now, the reason Blizzard hasn't come out and done Honor catch-up systems or Conquest catch-up systems this late into the expansion or this late into the patch cycle is because you can't, when you have shared gearing, although some people like it, you can't increase Honor or Conquest, gain without trivializing another form of gearing, right? If you make it 50% easier to earn Honor, or 100% easier to earn Honor, or 100% easier to earn, 100% increased Conquest, you then trivialize all forms of lower PvE gearing, and to the point where if you're a PvEer, you're like, wait, why don't I just go do Battlegrounds? Why don't I just go do Arena or Rated Battlegrounds and get gear 100% faster than players are currently after some type of buff? Why would I ever do low-level Mythics or even Heroic Rating, right? Now, when you have the gear separate, you can give and offer catch-up systems like we've seen in previous expansions. And in BFA, we did have a catch-up system, but the gear was so low in terms of item level that they didn't care about giving you a catch-up system. It had no impact. It was 445 gear when people were wearing 475. Of course, they'll give you a catch-up. Sure, you can have 445 gear. You can get it 50% faster. That doesn't really solve the issue. But now fast forward into Shadowlands, when PvP gearing is so valuable to PvE players in terms of gear acquisition, they can't add a catch-up system. Otherwise, you just diminish all forms of entry PvE content. So by separating the gearing, by having a system like this compared to what we had previously, we can now see catch-up systems, I'm sure. And at the beginning of the expansion, people were complaining that 550 Conquest cap is too little, when in reality it wasn't. And I was saying it wasn't because rating was so bad in terms of gearing, and Mythic Plus was so bad in terms of gearing, that at the Mythic World First race, Limit and Echo, I think on Preach's podcast episode he did, they said that their entire raid team was decked in Arena and Rated Battleground gear. They had almost all Arena or PvP gear. They had a couple of BOEs, and then they had like 1 to 2 raid items. And that's not fair for both sides. You shouldn't make PvE players do PvP just to get gear because they have to, and vice versa. I know people are going to say, well, who cares how they feel? they are subscribers and we want this game to be active. In BFA, PvPers hated having to do PvE, right? You should do content that you enjoy doing and you should be rewarded for it. Another good thing about this system is that you will reduce some of the boosting, right? A lot of PvE players, and if you have access to these gold boosting discords, I don't want to show you guys because that's a little toxic and I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but a lot of PvE players do buy PvP boosts for PvE. They want to get a new weapon, they want to get a badge trinket, so you will cut down a lot of the boosting that you do see in PvP, which does hinder and make a large portion of the population's gameplay experience very poor if you're partaking in PvP activities, because you have these guys at 226 item level rolling into your bracket and they are more skilled than you and they have better gear than you by a significant amount and they just crush you in 2 seconds. That's really not any fun. What's the problem with this system, and what I think Wowhead, this is a very biased article, I don't know who wrote this, and ironically, essentially what they're saying is these changes make PvP gear significantly worse in PvE scenarios. It won't provide them with almost free mythic end boss weapon early in the season. It's not free. I mean, you're either really good at PvP to get a 2400 the first week. That's very difficult to do for a lot of people, or you're spending millions of gold. So it's certainly not free. And ironically, they have an article on their website during the beta near the time I put out my video about the gearing systems, explaining all the gearing systems and then suggesting that they should do the WoD system. So I think it's a little, I'm not sure who wrote this article. I think it's really biased article, but I will say what they didn't include on is the right side, right? This chart on the left, hypothetically, these numbers aren't accurate, look fine. I think it's fine that your gear scales up. The problem is the eye level difference on the PvP side. Your gear should not jump 7 item levels every time you get into a new rating bracket. In previous expansions, you did get stronger at different ratings, but it was like a weapon. Maybe you got a new weapon at 1850 or a weapon at 1850. Maybe you got shoulders at 2K. Some expansions, it was 2200. Maybe you got a higher tiered weapon at a different rating. I think some progression is fine, but it was only a singular item, maybe at most 2. Making it so that your entire character gets stronger is significantly different than what we saw in previous expansions. 7 item levels when your character is around 200 to 226 item levels is massive. Not just one item, your entire character gets stronger by 7 item levels. And it's such a massive difference. Gear is exponentially more powerful. If you look at Burning Crusade or any other expansion, the item level differential between seasons is significantly smaller than what you see in a singular season. In a single season, your character gets so much stronger that if you're 226 versus 200 item level, it sucks. Like, it's almost not even playable for some people. I mean, if you're a really, really good player, you can make it through the system. But for a lot of people who aren't good, even if they think they're good, and that's why they blame the gearing. I'm really good, but it's because of the gear. Probably not the case if I'm being honest. Okay, because you can make it through the system. But for someone that's actually trying to learn or improve, and they're in an arena in a competitive setting, and this person's astronomically stronger than they are, that's when it becomes problematic, and that's when it's an issue. I know Blizzard's very unlikely to rid this ranking system. Personally, I think you should have honor gear, and then you should have just conquest gear, and then maybe you get a better pair of shoulders, or you get shoulders at a certain rating, similar to what we saw in previous expansions. But it seems like they want to keep this ranking system. They spent time on it. I'm not sure if they're willing to change that, but there's no reason that they at least won't shrink the item levels. You shouldn't jump 7 item levels per bracket. You shouldn't jump 5. It should be 2 per bracket. You should jump 2 item levels. We can make unranked scale up to 220. You can make combatant 220. These are hypothetical numbers: 222, 224, 226, 228. So at most, it's 8 item levels across the entire spectrum, which is 1 bracket in what you're seeing today, right? Essentially, Rival and Duelist is like 7 item levels. The entire thing from unranked to Elite or Duelist should be 7 to 8 item levels. That would make more sense, and if there is some progression there, you can feel a little bit of something as you're getting stronger. It gives you something to look forward to, but it's not to the point where you're subjecting everyone to this boosting community. And I just can't see a reason why Blizzard wouldn't do that, other than the fact that they want to support, or they're indirectly supporting PvP boosting, because it's ruining the community. If you go to EU, it's just the LFG section is absolutely filled with people selling boosts, more than any other expansion. I know boosting's been around for a while, but not at these levels. People are making millions of gold off of PvP boosting. It's ridiculous. I mean, they're getting gold cap and sending it to alts because they're making so much gold, and people are willing to spend either buying gold online or WoW tokens to get this gear because it's so powerful. If you reduce the amount of item levels, people aren't going to be willing to spend millions of gold, and it's not going to be worth your time trying to boost somebody for 200 rating for such a small amount of gold. It's just not even worth it. And I think if you have the current system, you're ridding PvE players paying for boosts, and you're also, if you fix and shrink down these item levels or reduce the ranking, the ranking system of gearing altogether, you rid PvP boosting, and I think you have a solution that satisfies everyone's needs, and you still keep some progression if you're willing to reduce the ranks. I know some people are going to say it's an MMO, it's progression. We're talking about different levels of progression. We're not talking about what you experience in Wrath or MOP or whatever. It's different now. The amount of gear, how much stronger you get in a singular season or a single season is just way different than before. I get getting a new item. I don't think your character should jump 26 item levels in a single season. Shrink the gear down, keep the left side of the screen the same, and I think you have a much better system that a lot of people would be happy with. Overall, Blizzard, I like what you're doing. It's probably unfinished, and I just wanted to give you some feedback there, and hopefully the community can get behind that. Appreciate your guys' time. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.